Stock markets around the world have been rising. Maybe you invested, maybe you didn't. If you did invest, you have probably made a handsome profit over the years and have retired on a beach somewhere and aren't watching this video. But you probably didn't even invest in the best performing market in the world, did you? You came here for the truth. Today we are going to look at the best performer. Are you scared? Are you shy? Are you courageous? Are you brave? Well, you tell me. This stock market here continues to go up, and it is none other than the great Venezuela. Venezuela's stock market has been performing better than the stock markets you have been investing in. You've been claiming that you've made a lot of money, but you have made nothing compared to those who have invested in the Venezuela stock market. Look at this. Oh, so wonderful, trailing along, and it's getting a little aggressive up in here, and then it just shoots up like an arrow. That could have been you. You could have been riding this rocket. Is it Virgin Galactic? Is it Blue Origin? SpaceX? No. It's you. That could have been you, but it's not. Wait a minute. Maybe you invested in the other best performer in the world, and that is the Argentina stock market. Again, another incredible performer. It has gone, in this chart alone, over the past few years, from 2,000 to over 20,000, it looks like. And you didn't get any of that. Not at all. You didn't even think of that. Why not? You were investing in U.S. equities thinking you were making a profit. Your money's still there. You didn't even make a profit. You should have been invested in South America, in these markets here. Now that's enough sarcasm for today. Let's move on to the truth. That's what you came here for. Well, as you can see, a little bit of silliness to talk about this very serious situation. The money is devalued so fast. People don't know what hit them. They're hurting. And why? Because their money isn't worth anything. That's why the stock market is rising. Now, these are extreme examples. I mean, particularly with Venezuela, it's an extreme example. But the stock market is doing well. I mean, if I'm just looking at the stock market, I would say this is the best performer. This is great. It's amazing. Everybody pour your money in. Or do I have to think that maybe it's not doing so well and the garbage money is devalued at such a rapid rate? That's the way you need to look at it. Look at the whole picture. I mean, people are suffering all over the place. People are losing it in Venezuela. But the stock market, if I just focus on that, it's doing very well. I hope you see my little way of being silly about it. All right. This here, it hurts. And years ago, actually, it's been a while, I have an individual contact me who lives in Trinidad and showing me the news articles from there and talking about the situation that people from Venezuela are finding their way over to Trinidad, which has its own problems. But because of the shortages, because of everything that has happened, the collapse that has occurred in Venezuela, people are just going anywhere they can. I read an article today about Colombia again, that's seeing a massive influx of people from Venezuela. And this here basically says that the areas which border Trinidad are really seeing a trade and barter take place, and people are coming over in these small rafts with their families. And unfortunately, truly, I mean, maybe don't even read the article, but it's out of the Wall Street Journal, and basically it talks about the fact that not everybody makes it back. Not everybody makes it there. And it's really bad to hear. I mean, it's sad. It's a sad article. Essentially, that's what's happening here. I mean, there's a lot of barter going on, and people are doing what they have to do to get basic things. I mean, they show how expensive things like toothpaste and shampoo and everything else in here in this article. It's terrible. It's terrible to think of that. That people are here. I mean, something that we may take for granted in the West, like a tube of toothpaste, is very expensive in a country where everything is rationed and the country has been brought in to one of the worst crises that we have today. A little more than a year since Argentina's return to the capital markets with a record-breaking $16 billion issue, check this out, it pushed the boundaries even further on Monday by selling a 100-year bond. The Century Bond. They're not the only country to do that, of course. Mexico as well. We've seen that in Japan. I think Japan has an even longer one. Who in their right mind would give any money to Argentina, who's devaluing everything, who is sending their economy into the abyss? And here we are, 100 years. Take my money for 100 years, please. Thank you very much. Now, I guess the thought is that they're not going to hold it to maturity, but the point of the bond is supposed to be to hold it to maturity. That is what you're supposed to do. But essentially what we found here is that there are less and less yield coming out of all of these so-called assets, and ultimately you have to find more risk. So they look for the risk, get a little bit more yield, and they play with it all. I mean, it's all computers anyway, so why not? A century bond is a disgusting premise because it's a known... It's like me knowingly lying to you. I'll sell you a Superman bond. I'll sell you a Jupiter bond. Why not? I mean, why not? I'll pay you back in 100 years. I mean, that's the silliness of it all. I mean, I'm saying silly things, but I'm hoping that it triggers something inside of you. Now, this is not surprising, but here we are. Out of Der Spiegel, probably butchered that word, Germany's Foreign Intelligence Service long spied on numerous official and business targets in the United States, including the White House. Oops. They seem to have been spying on each other. Did you think it was just the NSA spying on everybody, you and I and everybody else? Nope. All of these agencies have the technology to spy on everybody, and guess what? They're all using it. That's just the way it is. Now, they may separate their agencies differently and everything like this, but don't worry about that. Governments spy on other governments, and these rogue, institutions or whatever you want to call them, they will do whatever they want. They're not going to listen to government officials and rules and regulations. They just go ahead and do it. Now, I just want to throw this in here at the end. What you're looking at is, once again, this robot. In this case, it irons. And if you look at the video, it's a very slow ironing process. And it looks like it's sort of a first generation type of thing. But it actually works. The robot ironing person actually works. I just said person, which is funny. But the robot does its job. And this type of thing is something that I cover almost on every single video now. I seem to be covering some sort of robotics or automation, which are replacing jobs. They are removing the need to have the tedious jobs, the mindless jobs, and whether or not we can move into a place where we have more creative type jobs, where we can work less hours, where they can actually go ahead and print enough money for us to have this guaranteed basic income, universal income, whatever you call it. I don't know if they're ever going to get there. They're probably not. That's the point of the global economic collapse. But here we are. I just like to bring it out when I see it and show you all the different industries which are being replaced. This happens to be a little bit of a silly one, but that's it for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. And last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS, And my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. So you can actually flip through these books. If you go over to Amazon, they have a look inside feature. It's going to allow you to flip through the pages of these books to see if you like them. Take care.